The contributions of Indiana authors to the national literary landscape were celebrated during the 2012 Eugene and Marilyn Glick Indiana Authors Award dinner held in September at Central Library. This event was presented by the Indianapolis Public Library Foundation. This year's Emerging Author Award winner was Christopher Coake.
Unfortunately, when I first started writing, I predicted all kinds of things for myself. That was sort of the problem, was I wanted to be Stephen King and live in a mansion and sleep on a bed made of money every night. But it was in my late 20s that I began to realize I was writing stuff that probably wouldn't lead me down that road. I was glad and pleased just to get stuff published. When my first book came out, that felt, at that point in my life, like reward enough. And so anything that's happened ever since, including this, as I said on stage, being a writer from Indiana, especially out in the cornfields, I kind of felt like I was swimming upstream a little bit, and this really does feel kind of like this is a cliche I would not use on the page. It is a dream come true, and I'm very, very grateful. I had a professor of mine in my graduate program at Ohio State told me that he thought I had a Midwestern voice. And he's from Nebraska, so we talked a little bit about what that might mean. And I think he means that I don't say any more than I have to, and I write about people who have a lot more going on inside maybe than they will express outwardly. You know, that describes a lot of Hoosiers I know, not all, but a lot. As a writing style, I tend towards plain spoken English. I don't use flowery words. And then I set stories here as well. I spent some time in Colorado as a boy as well as in Indiana, and so a lot of my characters are kind of caught between places, wanting to be one place and having to live in the other and vice versa. And that's been my life. When I was in Colorado, I wanted to be here. When I was here, I wanted to be in Colorado. Now that I live in Nevada, I want to be back in Indiana and Ohio, which I'm familiar with. So it's my home, but it's also a place that I've ventured from, and that's in my fiction as well. The bit of advice that's been most useful to me was to spend time learning what I could write and I alone could write. I spent years trying to be, for instance, David Foster Wallace and to write like a big 700-page genius footnoted thing, and I was never going to do that. That's not the book I have in me. Once I discovered the stuff that I could write, I got a lot happier and a lot more productive. And I think I talk to so many young writers. I teach writing at the University of Nevada. I talk to so many of them who want to be Stephanie Meyer or who want to be J.K. Rowling or who want to be, someone else. And really it takes, the biggest leap of faith a writer can take is to be themselves. And, however that process can happen, that's what I would encourage people to do. Thank you to the Glick Foundation, thanks to the Indianapolis Public Libraries, thanks to the Library Foundation, thanks to the panel of judges. All the people out here in the crowd tonight who have, bid on silent auction items and have made donations. I mean, this is really an extraordinary outpouring of support for literature and one that I don't often see. And I and all the other writers here tonight are deeply grateful.
The Eugene and Marilyn Glick Indiana Authors Award is an annual honor presented by the Indianapolis Public Library Foundation. To learn about next year's event, go to indianaauthorsaward.org.